For context, this pickup has a 2-inch leveling kit on the front, 1.5-inch RoadActive Suspension setting on the rear right now. I'm going to show you installation of the new tires, what I did for rubbing and installing a wheel spacer. The tire I put on is slightly larger than factory, 1/2 inch wider, 1/2 inch taller approximately, and then a 1.5-inch spacer, which would be equivalent to about a -14 offset. It gives you quite a bit more clearance on the upper control arm, as you can see with the new tire installed. It wouldn't rub, I don't think, with that size of a tire, but there's definitely more clearance putting on the 1.5-inch spacer, and it gives it the stance I was going after. It's a good time to install new tire pressure monitors or have them installed if somebody else is mounting the tires. And so this is installing the new tires and balancing them. Look on the rim themselves. I think it looks good. A little bit more of an aggressive look with these BFG TA KOs, and then the difference again with and without the 1.5-inch spacer. I'm hitting the face of the rotor disc with a wire brush so that the spacers will fit flat and flush. These Amazon 1.5-inch spacers that are hub centric fit nicely over the center portion of the hub. The factory lug studs do protrude past the face of a 1.5-inch spacer, which you would need to cut or shave or grind off so that they don't make contact with the rim and cause you to have run out and put stress on your lug studs. But fortunately, these elevation rims have a recess for those studs to protrude into, which is nice. It was a pretty tight fit. It was actually just interference with the paint there. So after putting it on, the tire does come on and off fine from the spacer. And then I'm using a little bit of medium strength thread locker blue. It came with some red, but I don't want to have to use heat to take these off again. So I'm going with blue and then torquing them to 140 foot-pounds. And since the making of this video, I've got 10,000 miles on the wheels and tires, and they're not, they haven't caused any problem at all, haven't worked free or anything. You can see we're getting quite a bit of rub on the rear here on both sides. And so substantial trimming of the inner fender liner, the mud flap, and even the fender itself. I ended up cutting off a corner there to get rid of all that rub, and that was all because of the 1.5-inch spacers. I don't think it would rub at all if the spacers weren't on there. And then on the front there was some rubbing too, so I cut a little bit out of the inner fender liner and then shaved a little bit of the valance, and that gave me the clearance I needed to clear the tire from the inner fender liner. And then programming the tire pressure monitors. Again, links in the video description for parts and tools used for this job. And then here's a look at the finished install with two 85/60/20s, about a 33.5-inch tall tire, and just sticking out past the fender, maybe 3/4 of an inch or so. I think it looks pretty sharp, and I was happy with the stance when it was all said and done. I did have it aligned, probably isn't necessary, but I had it aligned at the same time, and they set the toe for the new tires. I hope you found this useful. I appreciate you watching, and I hope that you like and subscribe.